Hey everybody, welcome back. Movie review time, where we geek out about a movie we just saw, and we just saw Little Women. I did it. I got it right.
Yes, you did.
This is going to be our spoiler review. We're going to talk all kinds of spoilers. We might even talk about the end first. Andy, put me in the cell so I can sleep it off. Dumb. So just know there's going to be spoilers. You have a minute or two to click out before we just say a little spiel here. And I'm going to try and keep it brief, too, because my throat is drying out. But if you want our full review, you definitely, even if you've seen the movie, you should check out our no-spoiler review, as it definitely gives more of what our actual opinions are on the movie and everything. So I highly recommend watching that as well. We're just going to talk a few details here. It's the kind of movie, there's not really a lot of spoilery things to talk about, so I don't know that this is going to be that long. Hopefully it won't be that long. And we'll get into it. But also keep in mind, we're not really movie critics or reviewers. We just like movies. We want to talk about them, especially the Oscar stuff, because you know how I am about the Oscar stuff. Mary can't wait to watch The Irishman.
Fuck you.
I keep saying that. There's the other thing. Patreon and Stardust, like we do movie reviews right out of the theater for Stardust. They're 30 seconds or whatever. Patreon, I do full movie reviews, video game stuff, bunch of stuff over there. A lot of it's free. You can find either of those by looking up The EricButts, or using the links in the description below. I don't know what you'll find if you look up The Eric Bucks. That's probably something totally different. Yeah. So, I think that's pretty much the spiel. So we'll say this. We'll say spoilers.
Spoilers.
All right.
So I can't believe that Beth was abducted by aliens and they all thought she died.
I know. And then she came back with like that radar dish that grew out of her butt from the anal probe. I do what I want. All right. We tried. Little Women.
So
Saul was the dad, so they had to call Saul. That was pretty cool. Bob Odenkirk popping in there. I did not know that. I did not know he was going to show up. So I was like, oh.
I always wonder if something like that is almost more of a distraction.
You know, I was just having that thought, and I was going to say, I was waiting to see what you were saying, but now that I think about it, he might have been, even though I love the dude, he might have been the weak part of the movie. Not necessarily because his performance was bad or anything, but just because he didn't have much to do in the movie. So I'm like, it's Saul is there.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't like given anything to give a performance that would make me think of him as a character.
Right.
So you might be right. He might have been kind of the one distraction in the movie, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think casting somebody who's more along the lines of that guy who was in that thing.
Yeah, Sean Whalen would have been. Oh, you don't mean that guy.
not that particular one.
Yeah,
but you know, that kind of actor, which be like
the guy who played Timothée Chalamet's grandfather, who now I've totally blanked on his name, even though when I saw it in the credits, I was like, oh, that's what his name is.
Yeah,
because I really liked him.
Like I said, yeah. You know, I had no idea who he is. I'm pretty sure I've seen him in something, but but it's just like he's a grandfather. Okay,
I could get down with that. I guess I probably should have mentioned this more in my no spoiler review, but oh god, I don't know if the lights are gonna make it. Shit. No, I just distracted myself. I think maybe one of my problems with this movie, getting closer into what your problem with this one is there's not really any stakes. You know, you're not really worried about anything that happens or the outcome, except for the dying daughter. That's like the only moment, but that's not a huge chunk of the movie. Yeah, it is more slice of life, like you're saying, in that regard.
Right. And it's just like, I mean, because it's just like, some of the characters are poor, but at the same time, you're not really worried about them, like, losing the farm or house or whatever.
Right. They seem to have it all together. There wasn't, like, some villainous, like, corporate company coming in or something to, like, try to kick them out, you know.
The biggest villain was, societal oppression of women.
Which they didn't really play up that much. You know, it's mostly...
They kind of did. They made a point of going, like, there's women who want to be independent but can't because...
Well, they talked about it. And they had some really good conversations about it, like how marriage is essentially a financial obligation, or whatever the language they were using there. But other than really...
technically is.
Yeah. That's why are you marrying me? But that's what they want to know. But I know, like, Meryl Streep, you know, she was probably the biggest part of that, you know, because she was definitely the one really kind of cramming it down their throats. And I thought hers was, like, charming in a, God, I would hate that lady kind of way. You
know, she's not the one you want to be friends with and go people watching with just to hear her commentary.
Yeah, I imagine she's very catty. As I found it interesting, Timothée Chalamet's character was, like, in love with almost all the sisters. I was like, you know... he just needed to go through like one more, I think, and he could have had his bingo card.
No, he only went for 2 of them.
I'm over exaggerating, but I had that vibe going during the movie, like, oh, is it gonna be a thing where he like works his way through each sister?
I think it's one of those things. Is like there was definitely a certain amount of affection for everybody, but there's different types of affection,
and I can't fault him, because I mean it would be like a thing, you could meet a whole household of women and be like, all these women are really incredible. I could see that, so I can't fault him. I just thought it was kind of funny.
But the thing is also they were all young enough that it is possible that at this particular time of your life, you're really going to go for this one. And after that one thoroughly stomps on your heart.
Yeah. Well, and
a little bit of time, because it was,
And I wouldn't fault her for it either, because not that he was being a jerk or anything about it.
It's hard to tell exactly how much time passed between that happening and, France.
Yeah.
It's just
without
like,
the 7 years thing listed, but
yeah, but the thing is, like 7 years was the beginning of the flashbacks, and I think several years passed.
Yeah, that's where I get a little confused. I think the time issue in the movie is not well defined,
clear as it could have been in places.
Yeah, again, minor nitpick. It doesn't really destroy the movie. It's just one of those things. But I did appreciate him and his character, even though maybe he wasn't the best of times. At times, not the best of people, but maybe he was, and they just didn't really show it well enough. But again, I don't know how much of that comes from the book or this adaptation of it, because it's been so long since I've read it, and I was forced to read it back then when I didn't like to be forced to read, but still don't like to be forced to read.
But you still need to get caught up on Dragon Ball.
She's forcing me to read. You see why I'm not reading it? No, let's see. I know there was
a new chapter came out today.
You have derailed me on something too, though, because I was on a path.
So time shifting.
It was before all that, though. No, it's about like dating the girls, I think. Oh yeah, I know what I was gonna get to is we talk about the meta thing towards the end. Yeah,
because I was going like, wait a minute, so because you have her talking to the guy,
the publisher
about how he thinks the book should end, and then we're going to the flashbacks of how things are ending in her life. And I'm like, wait a minute, is this all this stuff actually the book going on and not? And she's just been sitting in the office talking to the guy the entire time. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, that's where it does get a little confusing. And that's where I was going to ask a question, too, because it confuses me a little bit. Because she's talking to the publisher, and apparently she did not marry the teacher friend. But then he tells her to write the ending where she does. And then we see that the teacher friend's hanging out at her school.
I think she did marry him.
And she's just trying to, like...
I think she was trying to have her, like... the ending that she had originally intended for herself in the book.
I could see that. I see where you're going with it.
But she kind of went, since I'm ended up marrying him in real life, I might as well write in the book.
Yeah, I like that interpretation. Yeah, that seems like somebody I know. Somebody I know kind of reminds me a little bit of Joe. I can't quite put my finger on it. But cuter.
I can't have gotten $25 for my hair.
No, you probably could have. I give you. Never mind.
No.
It doesn't matter. I don't even know what I was going to say.
I think I know what you were going to say. Nope.
I'm not even sure what I was going to say, but whatever I was going to say was not going to be accurate or funny. So I'll move on. But yeah, and then again, with those endings, like I kind of think I would have liked it maybe to end it in the publishing company, or even ended just when she's like, okay, fine, I'll write that ending, and you see her and him meet at this train station, and it could have even just ended with him being like, Joe, and then cut to black. I don't, leave it interpretation to the audience kind of thing. But
at the same time, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I kind of liked seeing that they took the house and turned it into a school, and like the entire family. Because they all had their own gifts, and so they could basically do what they wanted to do, and...
Yeah, and it is kind of a nice, like, kind of empowering kind of story thing in that regard, too. Like, don't let society tell you how you're supposed to be. Because you only get one life. Fucking enjoy it.
As long as you do no harm to others.
Right, well, that's the thing, yeah. I mean, as long as you're not taking away, you're not stealing or physically hurting other people or whatnot, you should basically be able to do whatever you want. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, even some of the laws, it's like all drugs should be legal. I mean, if you're I mean, if you know, I know some people need help getting off. So anyways, I'm going to go on a tangent. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, we're hitting that 10-minute mark. I want to do these other reviews, and my voice is holding steady. So what else do we got for Little Women? Because again, like I said, there's not a lot of detail to talk about the movie.
Yeah, the biggest spoiler is Beth dies.
Yeah, and again, it's a short chunk of the movie. But I do like the way that was done, and that got me teary-eyed with like showing when she was sick younger, just juxtaposing that, and then Cersei coming down the stairs, or Joe coming down the stairs, and seeing the reveal that she was alive,
where I
and then the
would
reveal
like
she
to
wasn't.
know if the book's actually written in sort of that time jump sort of way, or if it is linear.
Yeah, if you've read the book recently, let us know. I don't have time to go reread it.
Because, in all honesty, if the adaptation is her rewriting it so that it does do the back and forth thing, I think it makes it much more interesting because then you can see the parallels.
I agree. No, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And that was something I forgot that last year I thought I should do if I had the time, but I'll never have the time, is in the adapted screenplay category. I should also read the original source material. Yeah, right, exactly. Because I do like to read, but yeah, don't got that time. Not when there's like Kakarot to be played and Oscar movies to be watched. I'm down to 16 Oscar movies that I need to watch in like, I don't know how many days
15.
I've watched. Oh, after tonight, you're right, I'll be down to 15. 3 of those I'm still probably just not going to find. Richard Jewell is not going to be available to me in time. Les Mis and Corpus Christi, 2 foreign features, not really available in time. But everything else I should be able to see in time.
Okay.
But yeah, so Little Women.
Yeah.
It was really good. Again, really solid, and I do think it deserves to be there. I just don't think it's going to win. I think it is on the bottom for me.
Yeah.
All right, get your punching hand ready, because I got a joke I just can't not say. Yeah, it's just, it's just going to be on the bottom for me. Where women belong. I don't know why I couldn't stop myself.
You could have easily stopped yourself.
No, I couldn't. I can't. You know how my mouth works. You know how my mouth works. She knows how my mouth... I'm talking about talking, y'all, pervs. Kim. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, our Valentine's DMN looks like we're finally going to do DMN After Dark. We're not going to tell you any more of that, but we'll tell you that here. Well, I thought you were excited for it.
I am. I'm also dreading it at the same time.
Fair enough. It's going to be a fun Valentine's. All right, anyways, so I guess that's our thoughts. That's our spoiler thoughts on Little Women. And, good times, man. Since the lights are going to live, I think we're going to try and shoot a Parasite review, because we watched it over the weekend at home, and I was iffy on if we'd be able to do a review for it, but, and I'm doing more Oscar documentary and reviews and stuff like that. The stuff I watch myself, throwing up on my Patreon, so I'll try to keep those free for now. And I made a playlist with all the Oscar reviews, so that's an important thing to mention. I need to get that watch time going. So if you want to check out all our Oscar reviews, I made 2 versions, one with the no spoilers and spoilers, and one that's just the no spoilers, if you want to check those out. Make your life a little easier. So that's our thoughts on that. Click the thumbs up button, give us that good old thumb of encouragement, as we do love to be encouraged. Check out Stardust or my Patreon, look up TheEricButts, use the links in the description below. That's it, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess we're going to get out of here. Oh, comments. Yeah, comment. Let us know. What do you think about this? Well, I have to run the channel, sweetie.
I'm just trying to get you done.
Actually, I got one other thing to say, too. Comments, let us know what you thought about this, if you agree, disagree. Where does this rank in what you've seen of the Oscar movies so far? And let us know about the adaptation, if you're more familiar with the book and the source material. Also, to the guy, if you see this, I meant to say this in the no spoiler, but if you see this, the guy that worked at the theater and, at concessions, hi, I'm sorry I didn't get to ask your name. I was flustered, but it was cool, so nice to meet you.
I was flustered, too, because he suddenly disappeared.
We were in one line, we were on one line waiting, and, nothing was moving, and the employees were hustling, but, nothing was moving, and another guy opened up a register, and I was literally in the middle of telling Mary, I think I'm going to have to go without snacks, because I think I'm going to have to put these away, because we're about out of time, and before I could finish that sentence, the guy's like, I can help, who's next? And I was one of the people that was next, depending on what line. So I was like, all right, no one else is going. And I went mid-sentence thinking she was looking at me I apparently confused her. It confused me. It was a whole thing of confusion, but we got it. So there you go. Fun story.
Anywho.
All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to watch some more stuff. We're going to talk about it too. We'll see you all later.